Hello everybody, welcome back to another video where I talk over a game and I try to make myself understood because I apparently slur a lot. That's just something I do when I talk too fast. Anyway, so what I wanted to talk about today is kind of also what this channel used to be about, and I might still go back to it every once in a while when I've got something new that I want to show that doesn't have anything in particular to do with AuDHD or something, and that is planning. Now, at the start of 2024, I got hugely into planners. I always thought paper was interesting because I've always liked tried to write and draw a bunch of times as well. Been doing some drawing and writing all throughout the years. So I always like to have some paper around, but it really started to go into the planners. At the start of 2024, I was watching a bunch of people talking about Hobbies things, which are like a Japanese stationery company. They have some really, really nice paper, and I'm still very much tempted to get some because it's super thin, but also very durable, which is great for writing. And at the start of 2024, I had gathered a whole bunch of these things, and initially I thought, you know what, because I know myself, once I have a new hobby, I start spending like crazy. I thought, you know what, I'm going to start doing things economically. I'm going to make my own planners with cheap stuff that I can get, like the Action, things like that. And it's going to be just as good as the rest, like not as good quality-wise, but more like it's going to do the job, that type of thing. So I went into it like that, and I started making videos about it because I was super hyped up about it. But then the brands that were shown in all the videos that I was watching started to draw at me a little bit more, so I went and got one. I thought if I get one Hobonichi Weeks, then I'll see what it's like. That'll kind of like take the hype away from me, and I don't have to worry about it anymore. But it actually didn't. I went and got a bunch more. I found a place where I could get them locally. Well, not locally as in go to the store, but like locally as a website that's within the same country as me, rather than ordering directly from Japan, because that is still a step too far. That is way too expensive. Though I have to admit that I have been looking at their website, the Hobonichi website, and I have had items in my shopping cart, but then I just kept looking at the delivery totals and thought, you know what, it's really, really not worth it. And on top of that, I don't know how much customs I'd have to pay, so that would end up being very pricey for a little bit of paper and maybe a pen bag or whatever it is I wanted on top of the rest of the stuff. So I didn't do that ultimately, but I did in the meantime go really crazy on all the different types of planners that I could use and that I wanted to use, and I had a whole bunch of them just sitting. I think I've shown in a couple of videos like what type of journaling things I had and what type of planner stuff I had, and for a while, for most of the year, I would say, I also used the things that I showed. So it's not that I was lying or anything, it's just that I had this big boost of wanting to use these planners, so I was using them every day faithfully, and then throughout the year it got a little bit less energetic, and after a while I even stopped somewhere around September. I think I just kind of stopped because I started noticing that in particular what I saw a lot of planner people doing was planning ahead for things like I'm going to do this on this day, I'm going to do that on that day, and I found that I didn't actually really want to stick to that. Rather, what I did want to do was just determine what I wanted to do at some point, but not necessarily on the day, unless it was really something that I had an appointment for. Then it would be on that date, but other than that, I didn't really have that much. And when I did have a couple of to-do items, I wouldn't write them on the specific dates. I would just have them somewhere separately, and then the days in the planner themselves would remain blank. So then it kind of felt like a little bit of a waste. Now, fortunately, most of the planners that I have that I got over the year are undated, so I can use them whenever, so I don't really see it as a loss. It's more of a not really using them right now type of situation. And the ones that do have dates in them, like pretty much all of the Hobonichi ones, if I ever want to use them again, I'll either just use them for journaling where it doesn't really matter what date it is on the page, or I'll just redate them as something else. So those aren't really lost either, but it's kind of like everything has just been kind of put on hold. But one thing that I found very interesting when looking at all the different videos in the planner community is that a lot of them have ADHD to some degree, and a lot of them have this thing where they buy all of the things, which is exactly what I was experiencing as well. And they'll admit to it as well, like having all these collections of things and having to get the new one and having to try another one and seeing a different one over there that somebody else was using. I have to try that one as well. So that's something that I found very interesting, that we all, well, not all probably, but a lot of people that I've at least seen online seem to have that thing going for them. They have some type of ADHD. And they probably got into planners trying to handle just their schedules, trying to make sure they don't forget anything. And then the ADHD side also said, ooh, that's pretty, like the new shiny coin thing, I want that. And then they started collecting everything. Because I hear that's also one of the things about ADHD, when you have a new hobby, A lot of people with ADHD want to collect all the things surrounding that hobby. They want to have the complete set. And also for smaller things, that was another video I watched a while ago, a short video I think, where somebody wanted to make somebody a custom birthday card or something. Instead of just getting some paper and maybe a couple of pens, they went and got all these different tools and things and coloring stuff and paints and whatever else they could possibly think of that may be used to make a fancy looking card at some point. And then with the idea of, oh, but now I can start making cards for everybody. And maybe they'll make one card, maybe they'll make two, and then everything disappears into a cupboard somewhere or just kind of sits out until they're tired of looking at it, and then it goes into a cupboard somewhere and starts collecting dust. And that's kind of like how I experience most of my new hobbies as well. I get all the things, I'm very fanatic about it, and then everything goes into the cabinet. And the same thing happens with planning. I got a whole box. I think I got several boxes of different planners actually that I'll probably use at some point, but right now they're just kind of sitting there. And instead what I have now in a way of planning is a very simple but cute to-do notepad where I just write everything that I want to do during the week, say on a Sunday evening, and then I get joy out of ticking all the boxes, having done all the things that I wrote down. So that's fun. It's not like I'm not having any more fun and that things aren't getting done. It's just different now, that's all. And I thought about maybe selling some planners, but then I have to go through all the hassle of dealing with the people that want to buy it and then try to get like a better price out of me and stuff like that. And then I have to mail it to them. And then there's a potential that they'll start pretending that they didn't receive the package, and they have to go after the delivery people to see if they actually did deliver it or not. And you have to go through the website where you sold it to say, hey, this person's trying to scam me. And then you have to hope that they actually give you your money back, blah, blah, blah. That just seemed like a lot of waste of energy and time for something that I could potentially use in the future, and then it would save me money because then I don't have to buy it a second time. So I'm not doing that either. It just kind of sits there. And if we do end up in World War III or something and paper becomes super scarce, maybe I can start selling it then to get some bread or something. I don't know. I'll have a resource that maybe of use to other people. Pens included. I have tons of pens as well. So if they want pens with their paper in the middle of World War III, electric boogaloo, then I can supply them as well. And I'm wondering if more people that watch these videos have similar experiences. I'd like to hear about them. I'd like to hear what people are thinking in general, because I tend to get mostly reactions in the ways of likes, which is also nice. I like getting likes, but I'd also really like to hear what people are thinking when they watch these videos, or after, or in between. In any case, that's it for this video. Hope you found that interesting. I hope to see you in the next video. Thanks for watching, and bye bye for now.